Hello everyone. So today we'll be talking about UPSC Mains 2021 GS Paper 2 question number 10. And if you see this particular question, so US is facing an existential threat in the form of China that is more challenging than the erstwhile Soviet Union. So it's kind of a comparison based question. So you have to do comparison and you have to do comparison between which two entities. So you have to talk about USA China rivalry vis-a-vis or with respect to vis-a-vis USA, not Russia, USA, USSR rivalry. So USA-China rivalry vis-a-vis USSA or USA-USSR rivalry. So this is the basic point, and this will be a heading. If you're making a particular heading in this and you're writing some points, you cannot just write about USA and China. You have to also compare with what was happening in the Soviet Union. What was the Cold War era? What happened and how China today is more stronger than the erstwhile Soviet Union, if it is stronger. So what you can talk about, how you can start this thing. So you can start with a basic introduction. Again, whatever you're writing, don't just start with the points straight away. You have to have 1 or 2 lines of intro. Then in body, you can make a heading and then you can write some points, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want. And then you have to have a proper conclusion. Even 1 line intro, 1 line conclusion will do, but you have to write some thing in the intro portion and something in the conclusion portion. So you can talk about the rise, or you can start with the rise of China as a major global power is like threatening the hegemonic power of US. And this whole thing has resulted in the debate of new Cold War emanating between the two economic powers. And because of all these things, and thus the comparisons are being made about the threat faced by US from China vis-a-vis the threat that was posed by Soviet Union. So this will be an intro. You can write 1 or 2 lines like this in the intro portion. Now the main part. So here in the body part again, you will make the heading that USA-China rivalry vis-a-vis USA-USSR rivalry. And now you can write in points. If you don't have enough points, write in paras, because let's say you write 2, 3 points. So it again, it's all psychological, right? So the examiner who's checking your copy, he'll feel like you don't have enough points to write. So if you don't have too many points, write in paras. So first point here we can talk about is China is not aiming to foster revolution and regime change. So here we are talking about regime change thing. Like USA, they always, I don't want to use that word, but they always insert their finger here and there. They do that, right? And that is stupid. Like, I don't know whether that is stupid or not, but they do that. They try to influence policy in West Asia and whatnot. And we are seeing what is happening in Ukraine right now. So, but China don't, like, even in Africa, there are allegations that in dictatorial countries of Africa, China is not saying anything. They're just investing. They don't interfere in the affairs. So China has not aimed to foster revolution, regime change. Not directly, maybe indirectly they're doing. We're just talking about explicitly, we're not saying such things in most of the cases. But even Soviet Union, even USA, they do that. So China has not aimed to foster revolution and regime change as Soviet Union did sphere of influence. If you read world history, you will read about Cold War era. So there were Eastern European countries which were under the influence of Russia, or at that time it was USSR, and USSR was much bigger than Russia. It comprised other countries as well. So Eastern European was under USSR bloc, and then Western European countries mostly were under USA. So this kind of thing was happening earlier, but China is not doing all those things. So they offer trade and investment opportunity without criticizing these countries for violation of human rights, corruption, or authoritarianism, as US does, or as Soviet Union did. So this whole thing, because China does not interfere too much in others' affairs, this has gained many allies for China in developing world. So you can talk about this. This will be your first point. What else you can talk about? So China has a huge skilled, what do you say, manpower. So second point is hovering around manufacturing hub. We all say, na, even when you're seeing Apple and all those things made in US, you open it further and you will see the products which they are using or the raw materials which they're using. There, it is written made in China. So China has huge skilled manpower. And what else is happening because of this? So this whole thing has played a crucial role in China becoming the manufacturing hub of the world. And this is also one of the reasons why USA has a huge trade deficit. Trade deficit. You can make it a separate point or you can write it here only in this point. So USA has a huge trade deficit with China and thereby prompting USA to see China as an existential threat. Keep on using these words again and again so that, again, the examiner feel like, or the copy checker feel like you're not deviating from the points. What will be your third point? So here, the third point will revolve around BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. One more thing, in Belt and Road, if somebody asks you, because Belt and Road Initiative is what? China's initiative to connect with or ensure connectivity with most part of the world. So it's like a connectivity project, but it has major political, economic, and strategic significance. So what is Belt here? So it has both land component and sea component. So if somebody asks you in Belt and Road Initiative, Belt is talking about what, road is talking about what. If you have not read it, you may feel like road is land route and belt is sea route. This is wrong. This is exactly opposite. So belt is land route and road is sea route. Please pay attention to this. This is very important actually. So this BRI initiative, China has global worldview, which reflects in projects like BRI and also the present Chinese economic hegemony. What is the word which we are using here? Economic hegemony. Economic hegemony is much greater than that of erstwhile USSR. Hence, China is increasingly being seen as a threat by US. Always keep on connecting the dots. So this will be your third point. What can be your fourth point? So the fourth point you can talk about, you can do a comparison that US is currently not the same. What US was during the time of Cold Era or Cold War era was very different. A lot has changed in the last 2-3 decades. USA has utilized, like they have means use their resources in various wars at various soils, West Asia, and they did not get much success. Afghanistan is one example, right? And they have also faced economic crisis in 2008. So all these events have led China to slowly and steadily compete with US at various domains. So US not same as US of Cold War era. And you will, if you want to play safe, you can say according to political experts. Don't say you are saying this. You can always add in the starting, according to political experts, USA of Cold War era was different, and the current USA is very different from the USA of Cold War era. So this will be your fourth point. What can be your fifth point? Now, for fifth point, you can see this image here. This sir here, he was earlier Chinese premier. His name was Deng Xiaoping. My Chinese friend, pardon me if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He had a policy. His policy is written here. The policy's name was hide your strength and bid your time. This was his policy, that don't show your strength and look for the opportune movement. But now China has, this is the fifth point, according to political experts, China is moving away from Deng Xiaoping, hide your strength and bid your time policy to Xi Jinping. There was a joke where somebody read it as 11 Jinping. So Xi Jinping, aggressive aggrandizement. So now China is no more following this Deng Xiaoping, hide your strength and bid your time. They are moving towards aggressive aggrandizement. And which again has rung alarm bells in USA security corridor. So because they are much more aggressive in South China Sea, in Indian, we are seeing what is happening with India. So they are having frictions anywhere and everywhere. So they are much more aggressive right now. And that's why USA is not very happy, and USA is seeing China as a existential threat. So this can be your fifth point. Do write these points. Deng Xiaoping, hide your strength and bid your time. Xi Jinping, aggressive aggrandizement. And then the examiner will feel like, okay, you know these things. It gives a good impression. Then the next point. For next point, let me show you another slide. So there's an organization which is known as PwC. PwC, Pricewaterhouse Coopers. So they do analysis and all those. So they have given a report which is known as World in 2050. World in 2050. According to their report, by 2050, China will be world's #1 economic power. Also, one more important thing which is important for you is E7. We know G7, and there's also one thing coined that is E7, emerging economies. Russia is here, China, India, Indonesia, Brazil, Russia, Mexico, and Turkey. So you remember, all of us remember G7 questions have been asked on G7, but also remember E7, these 7 countries. So according to PricewaterhouseCoopers World in 2050 report, China will be world's #1 economic power. And this whole thing presents China as a much bigger threat for USA's hegemony than Soviet Union ever was. So this can be your points. You have enough points now. You can choose some, and because this is a 10 marker, you don't need to write all. And even if you write all, you won't be able to write all these points. So this was the body part, intro part we have discussed. What will be the conclusion? So you can talk about conclusion that in spite of, and you can also see the slide, what this slide is saying. 1995, E7 were half. Currently it is comparable. 2040, it will be double. So things are already changing. So now the conclusion part. We have done the intro part. We have done the body part. So in the conclusion part, you can say that in spite of growing Chinese economy, the current Ukraine crisis, you can always relate these things, the current affairs thing, the current Ukraine crisis, which is a full-blown war now. So the current Ukraine crisis shows that the challenges of erstwhile Soviet Union still lurking. The word which we are using is lurking, still lurking for USA in the form of increasingly assertive and aggressive Russia, which forms a major part of erstwhile Soviet Union. So that's it. And I think we have done enough, or we have enough fodder now. If similar kind of question comes, or even any question comes on US-China or comparison between US-China and USA-USSR or USA-Russia relationship even, we have enough points to write. ঠিক আছে? Take care, be blessed. See you in the next video.